match is about to finish. So it was a draw on board three for, as I said, the most experienced Egyptian player, Imet Abdelnaby against Kasper Perun. Jan Krzysztof Duda has won his game against Amir Mohab, and Wojtaszek has also finished, and I'm guessing he has won. And in the position, on the board, it's just d3, d2, and you resign because d1 queen and the bishop on f1 is hanging. So it's 2.5-half. For Poland, they remain in the lead, and the fourth board is still in progress. And before we go into another game, let's listen to Jan Nepomniachtchi, who has just won a very important game against Ukraine.
Good afternoon, dear friends. Our guest is Jan Nepomniachtchi from Russia, who won his game against Anton Korob of Ukraine.
Добрый день, дорогие друзья. Наш гость в пресс-центре Ян Непомнящий из сборной России, который выиграл свою партию против Антона Коробова, сборной Украины.
The game was quite fighting in Sicilian. Please tell us the key moments of this game.
Достаточно интересная партия, сицилианская защита. Пожалуйста, расскажите основные моменты этой партии.
Well, it's it's always very fighting. There's very fighting games between me and Anton. So he always goes to some sharp lines. So this game actually wasn't an exclusion.
Между мной и Антоном всегда партии полной борьбы, он всегда идет на острые варианты, и эта партия не была исключением.
Were you not surprised with Naidorf?
Были ли вы удивлены выбором Найдорфа?
Well, absolutely not, because it's his key opponent in his repertoire, so it's probably the only line I have prepared.
Точно нет, потому что это одна из его основных дебютных линий и, может быть, даже единственная, которой я готовился.
Yeah, well, so this is the moment my preparation was over. So I was only preparing queen b6. Queen a5 is another main move.
Здесь моя подготовка закончилась, потому что я готовился только к ферзь b6, хотя ферзь a5 это другой основной ход.
So, of course, I had in my mind some idea how to set up pieces, but it was more or less playing by my own from this moment.
Конечно, я понимал примерно, как расставлять фигуры, но более или менее с этого момента началась уже игра своей головой.
So this stuff I think is more or less logical. Bishop e3. Another option to take on f6, but it's not so clear. So maybe black can take back with a bishop. So I don't really want this bishop to go that active, and I thought maybe bishop e3 is fine.
На мой взгляд, здесь все довольно логично. Другая опция была взять на f6, но тогда черные могут взять слоном. Мне не хотелось, чтобы черный слон так активизировался, поэтому, по-моему, слон e3 вполне нормально.
Yeah, so king b1 is typical Sicilian move, some prophylaxis.
Король b1 это типичный сицилианский ход, профилактика.
Yes. So okay, now it becomes very sharp, because actually black cannot castle king side because of pawn on h6. It's always it allows white to launch a deadly attack very smoothly, but it seems like black can play without castle and try to play b5 before as soon as possible.
Но здесь позиция становится очень острой, потому что черные не могут рокировать короткую сторону из-за пешки а6, белые всегда, который позволит белым быстро организовать атаку на королевском фланге, но, кажется, черные могут остаться в центре и, например, сыграть b5, b4.
Yeah, so it actually happened in the game, so I think e3 is sort of a clever move, because I'm gaining some time for h4 and g5, and he needs at least 3 moves, to play b4, so queen b7, a5 in b4, but still e3 is of course some sort of weakening the position of my king, so I wasn't sure in this move, but I decided to play it more or less quick.
Ну, в партии так произошло. На мой взгляд, ход А3 довольно умный, потому что белые получают время для того, чтобы сыграть G5, в то время как черным нужно сделать там 3-4 хода, чтобы провести B4, то есть ферзь B7, опять потом B4. Но в то же время, конечно, ход А3 несколько ослабляет позицию короля, поэтому я был не уверен, но все-таки довольно быстро решил его сделать.
Well, so this is more or less forced. So here I wasn't sure what am I going to do because there were a few moves, like G6, some stuff like knight d5 or bishop d5 or g takes h6 or maybe something else. So I couldn't really make a choice. So I just decided to capture on h6.
С этого момента довольно форсированная игра идет. Здесь на самом деле очень много было возможностей у белых, и я не был уверен, какая лучше, но в конце концов решил взять на h6.
So here I'm not sure if his choice was good or bad, because I really thought that maybe g takes h6 is the move, and at least it's not so simple for me, to.
Can you take it on h6?
No, I don't think it really won't, because my pieces are stuck there, and bishop is hanging. So I mean this line somehow. So if I play the same way, so here I think queen h6 is very annoying. Maybe already winning some material. But of course, instead of taking on h6, I can do something else. Like I don't know, because personally I wanted to play knight d2, or maybe just to go for some desperate stuff like bishop d5 or knight d5, because it's not so simple to find a safe place for black king. So this remains very sharp, and probably after g6 is also very sharp and very unclear.
После взятия на h6, не знаю, насколько был правильный выбор черных, он мог просто взять на h6. В этом случае, конечно, взятие слоном на h6 не очень хорошо для белых, потому что слон зависает, и черные могут быстро сыграть b4. Я собирался играть что-то серии там конь e2 и, может быть, какой-то конь d5 или слон d5. Тем не менее, черные выбрали g6.
Well, so here, once again, I'm not sure if I played a good move or bad, but I mean, it seemed too logical to provoke this f6, so I just rushed with this bishop g5 move. By the way, I could get back to some sacrifice plan, like, prepare bishop d5 move. So I really thought that after bishop g5 it also might work, but I couldn't really calculate if it works or not. So I mean, I think bishop d5 is logical, but of course f6 is the most principal.
Здесь опять я не уверен, правильно или неправильно я пошел, но слон g5 довольно логичный ход, чтобы вызвать f6. Конечно, я мог подготовить или, может быть, даже сразу возвращаться к какому-то плану с жертвами, там, слон d5, но в результате, мне кажется, слон g5 все-таки логично, и решил так сыграть.
Yeah, so after bishop e3, b4, well, that wasn't really desired position by me, because I really wanted to go all in, like knight d5 or bishop d5, but I mean both moves, are also knight e6 was pretty curious, because then knight c5 and knight g7, so I had some ways to attack, but I couldn't find anything really decent, even something close to full compensation. So I decided, to try to
Not to risk, yes.
Okay, there is already big risk.
Yes, but
I mean, whatever I do, it's already very risky. So maybe this is the least risky the continuation, but well, I also wasn't sure if it's good or bad.
После b4, на самом деле, позиция оказалась не так, к которой я стремился. Мне хотелось где-то перейти к активным планам с жертвами, там, конь d5 или взять на e6. Но после b4 я не мог найти даже полной компенсации ни в том, ни в другом случае, поэтому пошел на менее рискованный вариант, это взятие на b4 и конь a2.
Yeah, this is probably the key moment of the whole game, because well, I was, if I say I was surprised with my opponent move, I would say nothing, because clearly the most principle is the crucial move is queen a6, and after queen a6 I think it should be about equal position. I couldn't calculate, so knight b3 is very nasty, so here I have two choices. First of all, I can go queen g2, but I don't really think this is enough, like knight takes b3, queen takes g6, king goes, I would say to f8, so I should take back, queen takes here, king c1. So now if rook c8 and I have h7, so I think black should start with bishop e8. Wait, king c1, bishop e8. And here, I mean, it doesn't seem like I'm doing any good. But maybe it's not that bad as well, because after queen g4, you never have rook g8 because of h7. So this knight on h5 is stuck. And I think maybe this remains slightly unclear, but of course, I think...
If rook c8?
Rook c8? Which
so
moment, you mean?
Instead of rook g8.
Here rook c8. Maybe e6 is already hanging.
Yes,
I'm
and
not so
b3
sure.
is protected.
And b3 is protected, I
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah. So maybe this is good enough.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Well, I also wasn't sure, so it was one option. And another option was to play queen b4. So here, I think I can protect everything. So the funny line is that after e5, I can go for knight e6, queen takes e2, queen takes e2, rook takes e2, and knight g7 check. And after I take queen on g7 and not even allow me 2 pieces for rook. But of course, no one should play e5. You can simply go king f7, and this is very, very tricky. So I thought c3, rook b8, knight b4, and I felt like, I mean, maybe white can stabilize, but this is very unclear anyway. So I thought queen c8 is the move, threatening bishop e4, and here I thought I should already play something like rook g1, bishop e4, and here maybe I can go for queen e2, but I can also take and get this position. It's very strange. So 4 pawns for a piece, and this knight on h5 is stuck. So I believe there is. I would personally pick white, I think, but I think it should be just unclear. And I mean, okay, if I manage to use the knight on h5, then maybe I will be much better. But I'm not sure if this is possible. So this was the most important line. And of course, black is not. They may not hurry with bishop e4. Maybe they can improve somehow. But the pieces is also not so good. So this knight on h5 can never get back into play. So this was very unclear, and I couldn't. I never had a clear idea how to evaluate this.
Ну, я коротко суммирую, что сказал Ян. После конь А2 он считает эту позицию ключевой. Можно просто вернуться, чтобы было понятно русскоязычным зрителям, да? Что после конь А2 вот эта позиция ключевая, и сказать, что он был удивлен, как сыграл у соперника, это ничего не сказать. То есть его поразил ответ соперника, потому что он считал, что принципиальный ход ферзь А6, конечно же, после чего у белых есть 2 основных опции, это ферзь G2, либо взятие на b4, и в том в другом варианте позиции получаются довольно такие неясные, очень сложно просчитываемые и с шансами за обе стороны. Но ферзь b4, я так поняла, что Ян все-таки больше склонялся к ферзь b4 после ферзь a6.
I mean, it's not so clear, so I still had like 45 minutes to think, but personally, okay, after queen b4, at least I felt like I'm not going to lose, and after queen g2, it's never clear, like maybe I just have nothing. Okay, I think 3 pawns for a piece, but or maybe 2 pawns, but I mean, it's
and this knight on h5
very
is
unclear.
very bad.
Okay, knight on h5 is bad, but still it protects g7, so it's not absolutely stupid to have this knight there. Okay.
Ян поясняет, что у него еще было 45 минут, и после ферзь А6 он бы еще, конечно, имел время подумать, но такое ощущение, что после ферзь G2 он может и проиграть, а после ферзь B4, по крайней мере, точно белые не проиграют, поэтому, опять же, конь на H5 стоит не очень хорошо, поэтому скорее ферзь B4.
How much time did Anton spend on d5,
Well, I believe we had roughly equal time, like 40 or 45 minutes, and I mean he spent like 25 or perhaps even more on d5. So it's a terrible blunder, because after queen a6 I believe it's very unclear, and after d5 well I'm literally gaining a free tempo to play queen g2, but furthermore this d5 is a big pain, because I can sacrifice on e6 or just take on d5 or something. So well it was really a pleasant surprise.
У нас было примерно одинаковое количество времени, но на ход d5 черные потратили примерно 25 минут. Ну, конечно, это огромная ошибка, можно сказать, зевок, потому что самое главное, что здесь я могу пожертвовать на e6, взять на d5. Конечно, это был очень приятный сюрприз.
Well, so after queen g2, king f7, I mean, maybe you should stick to the previous plan, you know, to give away on g6 and try to attack on a file, but it doesn't look like it works with a tempo down, so Anton decided to protect it.
Может быть, черным стоило вернуться к предыдущему плану с атакой по линии А и отдать пешку на g6, но, кажется, вряд ли это сработает, когда один темп уже потерян. Поэтому Антон сыграл король f7.
Yeah, so this looks like suicidal.
Ну,
I mean,
выглядит как суицид.
The whole d5 line. So after rook g1, the problem that, I mean, after rook g8, I can always play h7 and bishop h6. Maybe not here, but you know, in general, frankly speaking, you know, I just choose a good moment. So maybe I can start with capturing on d5. So in case if black takes back, then okay, I play h7, rook g7, bishop h6, and you know, you can never hold this g6.
Проблема в том, что после ладья g8 я всегда могу играть h7 и слон h6, ну, даже могу выбрать какой-то хороший момент, может быть, сначала я съем на d5, и затем пойду h7, ладья g7, слон h6, черные не смогут удержать g6.
And you know, if I get overexcited, so when e2 is attacked, I can, you know, promote a knight to, you know,
И я всегда даже
to distract rook from a file.
всегда могу даже провести коня, чтобы отвлечь ладью с a8.
So that's why it was played rook a to g8, but here there is no counterplay. So, you know, it was a small chance for me to blunder. So, like, it was very tempting to play e5, bishop takes d5, queen d5, and let's say here knight b3. But here I think queen b3 is a very unpleasant surprise.
Ну, поэтому черные пошли другой ладьей на g8. Здесь у меня был очень такой соблазнительный момент, когда я мог зевнуть. То есть вот в этом варианте, который Ян продемонстрировал, ферзь b3, кажется, был бы довольно неприятным сюрпризом.
Yeah, so I can take because of bishop f5, but okay, I can still go for knight c4, bishop c5, but this is, you know, at least this is unclear. At least.
Конечно, я могу по-прежнему взять слоном на c5, но после слона f5, по крайней мере, эта позиция неясная.
And also, you know, knight e6, it looks like crushing, and I didn't really. So, you know, the only line I should calculate was like knight b3, knight g7, so it was. G6 is falling, and knight is hanging, so it's, you know, looks like black is losing here. So, well, after knight e6, I think it's more or less over.
Ну, тем более здесь есть такой просто уничтожающий черный ход, как конь e6, после конь b3, конь g7, пешка на g6 падает. Я думаю, что после конь e6 более или менее все заканчивается.
Yeah, so, well, it
So
was...
it's forced, yes?
Okay, it's more or less forced, but, you know, frankly speaking, you know, I don't know, I think knight b4 is a better move because, you know, I can also attack this pawn, but then, okay, maybe black has some time, and I couldn't believe black will manage to protect the position with such, you know, such passive rooks, so it only reminded me, you know, that the game of corners.
Ну, после взятия на e6 вот этот вариант он довольно форсированный. Конь b4, мне кажется, хороший ход, потому что я не мог поверить, что черные смогут защитить свою позицию с такими пассивными ладьями. И в целом мне эта позиция сейчас напоминала больше игру в уголки.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, okay, here the main idea is f4, maybe, you know. You know, it was I was calculating something like queen d5, queen d2, let's say, queen c6, and here I think I can go for this. So, well, I mean, this is absolutely senseless. Not very important line, but you know, still I'm mating at some point, and after knight f8, well, I managed to find, you know, a nice finish to the.
Please show it to us.
Queen e2, knight g3, and okay, bishop c5. And in
Здесь
case
мне
if you
удалось
take
найти
the queen,
красивый
it's
добивающий вариант.
so, okay, actually Anton resigned after
Very
bishop c5
beautiful
check.
finish.
Yeah, so here,
Да,
so
после слон c5 Антон сдался.
it never was made on the board, but otherwise it would be a good finish.
Жаль, конечно, только что не получился мат на доске, потому что это было бы приятное завершение партии.
Okay, one move before mate. Jan, thank you very much for analysis, and if you have any questions, please don't ask them. Please do ask them.
Спасибо за анализ, Ян. И если у кого-то есть вопросы, пожалуйста, задавайте.
Александр Мальцев, новости игры. Вопрос такой: если анализировать все уже проведенные матчи на чемпионате, то какой из них был самый сложный?
Well, if you analyze all the matches so far at the championship, which one was the most difficult one?
Well, for me personally, every match is extremely difficult, but you know, this one is not over. So I really think that even some more serious challenges for us are ahead, so like China, you know, India perhaps. Okay, maybe Ukraine is not the best team roster without Chuky and Pavel Ilyanov, but anyway, Ukraine is extremely strong. Ну, что касается меня, то для меня как бы каждый матч очень сложный, то есть тут вот, но ну, этот матч еще не закончился, но в целом мне кажется, что еще самое сложное впереди. Ну, а касательно матча с Украиной, ну, Украина, наверное, не в самом оптимальном составе, то есть без Иванчука и без Ильянова, но тем не менее очень сильная команда. И вот, в принципе, пока матч продолжается, мне кажется, еще ничего не ясно.
So any more questions? So no questions. Jan, thank you very much, and please have some rest and good luck.
Спасибо, Ян.
Welcome back to the broadcast of the World Team Championship. This is round 3. Jan Nepomniachtchi has just won. This was the first game decided in the match between Russia and Ukraine, so the score is 1-0 for the Russian team. What other results do we have from this round?
Yeah, well, the match between China and United States of America is very tense. 2 draws on first 2 boards, and I even thought on board 4, Jeffrey Xion had a chance against Li Chao. I'm still not sure what's going on there.
And some excitement in the match of the Russian ladies, so let's go there.
Yeah, Gunina that's match between Russia and Azerbaijan in the women's section.
Where we said that Gunina was in a worse position against the birthday girl of the day.
Yeah, and it has to be said, if you start the match with 2 draws in the games when you are white and you are a favorite, this means something went wrong for you. So that's precisely what happens in the match of
Ponomaria Svidler finishes as well, and so many results at the same time that just quickly see that this was a draw.
That was a draw, right? So it's 1.5-1/2 in favor of Russia. Yeah, and Russian ladies, 2 draws so far. Lahno against Mamedyarova and Goryachkina, whom we thought will win. It was a draw against Gulnar Mamadova. So Gunina was in trouble on board 2. That's the position.
And still is in trouble then.
And still is in trouble. She is a pawn down, right? 2 pawns down in the moment. But she has gotten to her opponent's king, and that's always dangerous if we talk about Valentina Gunina. So what are the options? I mean, it would have been a nice thing to deflect this queen somehow, so that, to get rid of these queens controlling the diagonal, but I don't see the way to achieve so. I'm not sure. Knight c4, as far as I can see, is answered with queen c2. And apparently both players are in time trouble here. And this might as well decide the whole match. So 2 draws. To remind you, on board 4, Olga Gira has an extra pawn and decent chances to convert. But it's Valentina.
Shall we just quickly show the position of
so that's the position of, on board 4, Olga Gira with the black pieces. King f1 was the last move Fatalieva played. Well, but this game is less sharp, I would claim, than the game of Valentina Gunina. Here I can say black is obviously better, white still keeps chances to save the game for a draw, especially if queens are coming off, so that b4, the weakness of b4 pawn will become an issue. Right, but
the crucial game is between Mamadzada, the lady who turns 17 today, and we said that it would be a great birthday present for her if she manages to win her game against the higher rated opponent Valentina Gunina. And the position on the board suggests that she has all the possibilities.
Yeah, all the possibilities here. After knight a4, bishop g7, king a8 was played. Strangely enough, white decided to take, but I'm guessing I'm not coming back to this one. Just let's stick to this present position on the board. They must be very short on time, but since Gunina is thinking calmly, I'm guessing it's white who has time deficit here. 5 more moves to be made before they reach the time control. Right, black desperately needs to somehow to get his pieces in, if it's possible at all. Knight c4 has set queen c2, but now I'm looking, I can't make an argument against rook b7. Rook b7 protects b2, white is threatening mate in a couple of moves. Yeah, this would be game over, so there isn't knight c4. There isn't knight c4. Is there anything? Because rook b7 is a threat. If you start protecting against it, if you start playing moves like rook b8, then you're simply
passive.
lost. Yeah, you're simply lost by a head count. I mean, white is 2 pawns up, and yeah, this h5 is a very dangerous.
It seems that it's not only that white has material advantage, but also her attack is more powerful at the moment, with threatening on b7. And as you mentioned, if black has to defend passively, then those passed pawns on the king side will decide the game.
Yeah, well, I just don't see the move for Gunina. I mean, it has to be something. She has to find something in order to stay in the game, but I don't really see what can be done for that. And seemingly she cannot see it as well. So will it be the first upset for a Russian team? So 2 draws already, to remind you. So if Gunina loses,
Then they
the
need
best,
to win
in order
on the
to tie
last
the match.
board.
Yeah, they will need to win in order to tie the match.
And Azerbaijan, in theory, is an underdog, so the Russian women's team is the leader of the women's section, having won both matches. But today they could even lose.
Yeah, so, well, this gives you an idea, I mean, how tough the field is. It looks like they are playing this match as a clear favorite, but after a couple of draws. Yeah, I think today we can say that the white color didn't work for them. Goryachkina had a promising position, Lakno had a very comfortable position right from the start, but it didn't work out for them. So everybody's excited about Gunina's position, it seems.
Yeah, the Russia versus Azerbaijan match in the women's event.
Yeah, by the way, some results in the women's section. 2 victories for Georgia against Egypt on board 1 and board 4. Yeah, and in 2 other games, it looks like Georgia will win as well. Bella Khatenashvili is completely winning. Nino Batsiashvili has a better position, so probably it will be 4-0 for Georgians against Egypt. I was looking at Chinese ladies match against Vietnam. there was one quick draw
On board
on board 4. Then on board 3, Lia Tingyue won her game, so it's +1 for China, and 2 remaining ones are seemingly under China's under control. China has under control, so they will win the match eventually.
And in the match, Turkey versus Norway, board 1 has just finished. I think it's a draw.
Must be a draw if they finish so quickly. We never looked at this one.
There were just so many other exciting games to look at. Unfortunately, we can't always cover every game, but this apparently is a draw. Also, in the match of Poland, there is a result, United States versus Poland in the women's event.
So that's indeed a draw for Turkey and Norway.
So Aryan Tari makes a draw with the black pieces against Dragan Šolak. Once again, a good result for the young Norwegian. And that is Jolanta Zawadzka finishing her game against Anna Zatonski.
In the women's section, right? So, by the way, in the men's section, we have one full match which is finished. It's 3-1 for Poland against Egypt. Thanks to wins of Radoslav Wojtaszek and young Krzysztof Duda. So 2 draws on lower boards, which we might call an achievement for
Egypt.
Egyptians.
Once again, several hundred rating points difference, and they managed to score at least 1 point.
Yep. So let's check the United States match then. It's a draw on board 1, as we said, right?
Zawadzka versus Zatonski. I don't know the result.
It is a draw. It is a draw indeed. And then it seems Claudia Coulon is winning. It's also a draw on the last board. It's Akshita Goti against Agnieszka Majdan. On board 3, Poland is seemingly winning the pawn ending. Shouldn't be much of a trouble here. So 2 pawns on the opposite sides of the board. I mean, you can't really stop both of them, while white king should easily stop the e-pawns. Is that right, what I'm saying? I'm just thinking. King c5, g4, e3, g5, e2, king d2, and you are not in time to take this. That's important. Right, so Claudia Coulon is winning, and probably this will be the decisive point, even though her teammate Karina Szepkowska seemingly is in a bit worse position. So white has a better bishop, more active rook, so there is still a chance for an equalizer for United States of America. Right, but what happened in Gunina's game? What happens in Gunina's game? That was somehow board 2 of Russia's matches in both sections. Happens to be the most exciting. She still didn't play a move. Maybe there is no move.
Let's just go back to that board so that we have it on the screen.
You mean to switch the camera here as well? Yeah.
Yeah,
So we are
Mamadzada against Gunina.
We are waiting for Valentina Gunina to play a move, and I don't know which move it has to be, really.
I think they are making moves on the board, so if we could see the camera close
So you
up.
mean there are some moves, and once again we have.
I think there's something wrong with the transmission of the move, so I would like to see the camera on Gunina and Mamadzada. If we see the position, maybe. Is it still the same
It's
position?
still the same.
I mean,
No, it's still the
then
same.
Gunina is still thinking. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
still the
it's
same bad
position, absolutely. Because maybe there is no move. That's what I said. You'll have to protect b7, and then it means white will have time to consolidate, and he's 2 pawns up.
Yes, unfortunately for Valentina Gunina, that's really bad news if she doesn't have even tricks in this position. Not objectively good moves, but some kind of a trick where white could blunder.
That's precisely what she's looking for.
Of course, rook b8 I think is the last move that she would consider.
Rook b8, I thought for a bit rook b8, but then what happens there isn't much of a threat. I think what happens if I play b3, restricting the knight? I mean, it's a little bit strange move, but it's strictly positional move to restrict the knight from b6, so it's not moving at all. You might win one of the pawns back, but then say I take and go bishop c1, and I have everything safe and sound, right? So I still have my extra pawn. The knight is really badly placed. The pieces are active. Must be completely winning for white this one. And I'm not even sure I played the best moves for white. So it's, Gunina still struggles to find the move which will give her at least a theoretical chance to stay in the game. So it's, Olga Gira now is under serious pressure. He's a pawn up, but she has to win it in order to tie the match. That's very...
And it's not an easy position. It's okay.
Right.
Claudia Coulon has
wins,
won.
Yeah. I think so. United States is... Poland is leading against United States. 2-1. Right.
And the remaining game, as you said, Sabina Foysor has a good chance to try to tie the match. She has a better position against Karina Shepkovska.
Right. And
back to Gunina, who is still thinking
still no move from Gunina.
in a position that we can declare as a lost position.
Absolutely. No, I thought it would be nice to see a time trouble in Gunina's game, but it seems that white is very short on time while Gunina had some. And it's just that her position is so bad that she has to spend all the time in order to find something. Wondering if we should at least look at some other games where there also might be time troubles.
What about the Ukraine-Russia match in the open section?
Ponomarev has made a draw.
That one we have seen already, but I mean board 3 and 4.
So it's comfortable lead for Russia at the moment. Vityugov made a draw. It's +1 for Russia and 2-1. Yeah, it's draw on board 3 as well. And Fedoseev plays what seems to be a better ending against Martin Kravtsev. So I don't see Fedoseev losing this one. So I'm guessing
that is a
we can safely say
for Russia, because so far they are leading 2-1, and they only need to score half a point in order to secure the match against Ukraine.
Yeah, that's the position on board 4. White being to move, so he can play bishop f3, pressing b7. Then after bishop c8, rook f4. I'm guessing it's only white who is trying. After bishop f3, perhaps the best move is bishop d5, but how do you lose this one with white? There is simply no chance. Rook ending. I won't say white is better, it's just equal, but you can't really lose this one. So I'm going back to Gunina, and
she has made a move which is not rook b8.
She has made a move. Rook to d8. Rook to d8. Isn't she lost after rook?
Takes b7.
Rook takes b7. Yeah, that's the question. So we go back to Gunina as soon as I'll find it.
The other player only has a few minutes on the clock, so that is Gunina's only chance that she will not be that confident having this time trouble.
Rook d8, yeah. An attempt to activate all the pieces to squeeze the maximum activity out of it. Rook takes b7. Who can tell me what's going to happen here? Because I do threaten mate in 2. So it's got to be rook.
Didn't she take it?
No, she... Yeah, she
I
did.
think she did, and knight d7
played.
was played by Valentina immediately. Knight d7.
Knight to d7. So here we go. These are typical Gunina tricks.
This is the way to mess things up.
Not much though. If I move the rook, where is all the mess?
Not sure.
Clear. Not clear. Some knight c5, strangely balancing, not getting mated herself, and trying to come up with some sort of an attack. Maybe that's the clever way, because I'm sure this definitely not what black has. Yeah, she made her last move in 7 seconds. Now this is getting excited.
This game is still exciting because of the
Takes
time
knight
situation.
d7, rook b4.
Gunina is down to 2 minutes, but still 37 seconds for Gulnay Mamadzada. Today's birthday could be memorable for her if she manages to finish this game in style.
So rook b4, what to do for black? apparently you need second rook to take part in the action. If you give white some time, white will take d1, play bishop c1, consolidate, and it's simply too many extra pawns. So knight c5, for instance. Yeah, still some tricks are possible, even though queen h5, and she will play this position. It's still, let's say, not completely, well, it is lost, but it's not comfortable still. Because somehow the rook got stuck on b4, now I realized. Unless there is queen g2.
1 minute for Gunina. She has to make a move.
Yeah, it's a time for Valentina to make a move, and I don't really see any move apart from knight c5, so I'm not even sure what
This is
she's
move
thinking about.
37. They still need to make
3 more.
3 moves for Valentina. That's
3 more
4.
moves after that one. It's really, really a crucial point of this match. Yeah, if Gunina saves by a miracle, then it will be, champion's luck, I would say, for Russia, because really this match didn't go well for them so far. 30 seconds, so she's below on time. And it's 20?
22,
Yeah,
21,
it's 20 seconds.
20.
Not that I expect her to lose on time, but
I don't think
really.
she will, but she's really
Rook
using
to
all her time.
c8. What's rook to c8? This is something strange, to be honest, because of the queen c2. I'm guessing it's gonna be game over. In a way that I'm
Everything gets exchanged.
forcing you to take on c1. It's bishop c1, and you can't even take this pawn because of queen g2 check and queen to b7. Yeah, that's
10 seconds for Mamadzada.
queen c2 played.
On the board, this is likely to be a finishing touch in this game that she played very well with the white pieces.
Yeah, I don't really see a chance anymore. No, not at all. I mean, you can do anything, and you could play rook e1, I thought, but then the queen
As the
swap
queens
is
come
just
off
enough.
of the board,
Yeah,
this is
it's just enough.
hopeless.
So
3
two
pawns
more
up.
moves. 2 more moves needed. White moral
Gunina
just
is
has
shaking
to
her head. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is dramatic. I think she has just realized that
5,
this is
4, 3, takes c2, exchanges the queens. And what? Some rook d5. There are still tricks. Rook d5, hoping to win. I mean, rook d4. Okay, rook d4. So the rook got stuck on b4. That's let's say
her
the
point.
the only chance. No, there isn't any chance, to be honest.
It's just now winning on the spot.
Yeah, you will still need to work in order to win this one, but with so many extra pawns, you might want to simplify the position further, to be honest. I mean, rook d1, to make sure the rooks are getting
You don't care about the
exchanged.
c4
Yeah,
pawn.
c4
At least
pawn
the
I don't
b4
mind
rook
really.
will not be
Takes,
bad.
takes, king b3, so both are attacked. You will have to play rook c7 and then more or less anything. Moving the bishop, putting the pawn on h6. What's important, to get out of the time trouble.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. And this looks just hopeless, as we mentioned, for Valentina Gunina.
Takes.
14 seconds for Mamadzada, so this is the last chance that if she doesn't make her move in 7 seconds,
6 already. It's
4,
still
3,
bishop to g7, which is a brilliant move, I'm guessing, because now after exchange, yeah, she has this pawn ready to march forward. King d2, or yeah, king d2, putting the rook behind the passed pawn if needed. Yeah, it's got to be completely winning for Mamadzada,
yeah.
for a birthday girl, as he said.
yes, a good day for her. And it's just so nice to see when somebody is under such huge time pressure. You see the seconds ticking away, you are basically about to lose on time, and she makes the best move in the position.
Rook g4 played, so they are out of time trouble, but yeah, as we said, the position is hopeless.
h6 is likely.
Why to rush? You
to be
have 30 minutes.
This is something difficult sometimes, that you made the last 10-15 moves with time trouble and you are in this blitz mode.
Yeah, in fact, it's been kind of a little study that a lot of mistakes are made on move 41.
Exactly.
Right after the time trouble, so kind of pressure goes off, and for a tiny bit of time, you know, it's kind of, you have a blackout because you say, oh, now I can relax.
You relax too much, and she didn't need to make a quick move.
Not that h6 is a bad move,
Yeah,
but
and now she stands up. That's always something.
that's a good that's a good thing.
Is recommended. So once you survive a time trouble, stand up, wash your face, drink a cup of coffee, tea, eat something, but go away from the board for a little bit of time.
Right. So Olga Gira, though, seemingly has all the chances. It looks like, for Olga Gira to equal the score, to level the score in this one.
As we see the open section, it's getting really empty.
Yeah, let's
Still have
quickly
new
check.
results.
Let's quickly check what has happened there. Bashkaran Atiban has won his game against Vladislav Kovalyov in a match of India and Belarus. It's
So
a second
Adiban
board.
scores his first victory after losing
Yeah.
2 games. That is very important for him and
With-
for the Indian team.
So India leads 1.5-1/2 with 2 white games still being in progress for them. How about Vidit against Zhigalko? This is, they've also reached move 40. This looks quite drawish, to be honest. This looks quite drawish, and on board 3 it's a board full of pieces still, and it's hard to say what's going to happen here. Just look, I mean, in some games we have anything, I mean, some endings, even the pawn endings, and here there's still a board full of pieces and all 8 pairs of pawns are on the board. But everywhere, I'm guessing everywhere we've just reached move 40. China versus United States of America, after 2 draws on top boards, we still have both board
Shall we show
3
the
and
positions?
4 in progress. On board 3, Robson versus Vei. Well, it did change something. I mean, it somewhat changed, but I'm guessing still must be close to equality, this one. So c5 is kind of a threat, not really. You have rook b6, but it is unpleasant. I'm not sure who is better here, to be honest, because white did get the passed pawn on a4. Right, rook is somewhat strangely placed on g5.
But about to capture a pawn.
Yeah, can take the pawn on the other hand. No, I thought maybe I will have to play this, chase the rook away, and then play a move like rook b6 just to get rid of the c5 threat. But again, black's central pawns are nice looking ones. King e7, king to d6. Might be that it's Vei who is playing for a win. And then in a game of Li Chao and Jeffrey Xiong, I'm guessing it must be a draw. It must be a draw, I'm guessing. Yeah, they are playing pretty quickly. And that's the... and then in another interesting observation in this one, during the time trouble stage, remember knight f2, rook f2, king c5.
You were predicting this variation.
And then yesterday in a game of Vei, we had the rook being attacked by a knight, a trapped rook, which standed there for 8 moves and eventually escaped. Okay, this rook has no way to escape, but it was not taken for next 7 moves. So a6, king b6. I mean, and they play a bishop's ending like nothing happens, because neither side wants to lose this tempo. If black takes immediately, he kind of helps white to untie. If white plays king g2, then after bishop f2 he will have to take. So it's kind of acknowledging that you are losing a tempo. And in fact, it was white in the end to play king g2. Black has taken king f3, bishop f7. He threatens bishop g8, but black is just in time to play bishop c4. after bishop h5, I don't really believe it's possible to win this one. So king is simply running backwards. Should be in time.
Yeah, this should be a draw, and then the only game that will remain is Ray Robson's end game against Wei Yi.
And we don't even know who's better here, right? But yeah, United States
Doing very
seems
well
to be,
against
seems
the
to be
defending
able
champions.
to hold China for a draw.
And
That's a
this
good
will
chance.
be the first match that China does not win.
Yeah, precisely. Well, as I mentioned, Poland has already won 3-1 against Egypt. How about Turkey and Norway?
Let's have a look at it.
Board 1
Was
has
a
finished
draw.
in a draw. Board 2, Frode Urkidal against Mustafa Yilmaz. That's the position. Black is more active. It's certainly Black who is trying to play for win, and perhaps he will be successful. So what he wants to play d5 and then to bring the rook in. I'm guessing he wouldn't mind the rook ending here. Yeah, I would bet on Black. Then Emre Can versus Johan Salomon, and here, well, technically you would say Black has a better bishop, but if only rooks were not on the board. White has an active rook with which he can always disturb this king, give tons of checks. So basically I expect a draw here. Yeah, if rooks are coming off, there are too many weaknesses for White, but you can't really do much here. Even though it's Black to move, so can he go for this check? And then I go here, and even I probably don't mind losing a pawn, because then it's a checks all the time, right? And then king goes here and another check. In case of king g7, I'm pinning, and bishop d5 is a threat. It's probably just a draw.
So if this is a draw, board 1 is a draw, we are saying that board 2 better position for the Turkish player Yilmaz, and on board 4 Frode Elsnes versus Wahab Sanal.
This is something very sharp, and apparently it was even sharper during the time trouble. Now it looks queen c4. I thought Black was winning, because he's not only threatening the queen, but queen h5. Queen sacrifice with mate.
Would have been beautiful.
Yeah, say queen e3, you want to trade queens, and then it's queen h5 followed by rook takes h5. Queen c4 was played by Frode Elsnes. He is a piece up. Wow, so if he wins this one, so that means a lead for Norway.
Yes, and even if Yilmaz Mustafa wins, that
will be a tie.
Just a tie.
It will be just a tie. Queen c4. Are there any chances for Black? King being exposed is that one. Well, actually there is a check on d2, after which White has knight e2. Well, it's still tense in a way, but it has to be solved immediately. Well, can I play this? Rook g6. No, now it's queen h4, so it can be taken simply. No, probably it is winning. There is still a feeling like there might be some, like in Gunina's game, there might be some moves with threats, but
that would be a very good result for Frode Elsnes, who I'm sure that he was sad about the match against the United States. Norway was doing well, three draws, and his game was the last one to finish, and he lost. So this is how Norway lost the match against the US, and now he can be the one who wins the match.
Yeah, right. And well, even though looking at board 2, I'm guessing it's really that Black has very, very realistic chance. Hg4, now d5 will be played. He wants to play d4 here.
King c3, then you
King
start
C3
activating
and
your
probably,
rook.
No, I thought, I might be not in time. That's tricky, because I thought this is very strong. Rook b5, rook f2, but White will play rook b8. So, I mean, I'm one move away from making sure I'm winning, but it's rook b8. And then it's a bit tricky, because this is not the same thing. I'm giving a check. King goes here. Another check, so chasing this king all the time. Over here I'm coming to d4, so it might be still a chance for white. I'm not sure.
If Urkedal makes a draw, then this match is looking great for Norway. This would be their an upset in a sense that the Turkish team has a higher rating average, and also they are doing very well in this tournament. Board 3 is over, so that is a draw.
Board 3 is a draw, right?
If everything is as it seemed before.
Yeah, rook c3 check, and perhaps he just offered a draw. I don't really believe
so.
it can be finished any other way. So board 4 we expect to be winning for Frode Elsnes, and on board 2 it's Mustafa Yilmaz for Turkey, who will have to level the score. Meanwhile, Russia versus Ukraine still in progress. It's still Fedoseev for Russia, who is the last man standing.
But it seems that he has at least a draw.
Well, I don't believe you can lose this one with white.
No.
He's in control. There is no rook b5. Even though I'm wondering why, or is he forced to play this one? Bishop a6 he played. It's interesting. He played bishop a6 instead of bishop f3. Bishop c8, a check here. He could have repeated with bishop a6, so that means he's playing for a win.
I guess he feels like he has not much to risk, or if there's
not much
any
to
risk.
or no risk at all, in fact. But yeah, for the sake of, psychology of his teammates, it might have been easier to simplify, just to make sure of the result of this very, very important match. Something in the ladies section.
Ukraine, India in the ladies.
Ukraine, India
tournament.
in the ladies. It's a draw on board 3. Everything else is in progress. Let's check board after board. Harika against Ushenina. That's the position. White is a pawn up, but black is first to put his rook on a second rank, and now it's gonna start double. I don't believe. So b2 is hanging, and after, say, rook b1, rook c2, other rook is coming to e2, so g2 will be hanging. Rook to d1 played by Harika Dronovali. Now it's possible to take b2. Should be a draw, I'm guessing. Say rook d8, which allows king f8, so king will get closer. Takes, then white can try to achieve something like that, attacking b5, and I'm not sure if it's rook b3 or maybe rook c2. Rook c5, so rook protects the c3 pawn, attacks b5 pawn, but still should be a draw.
And the other boards?
Yeah, so it's already a draw on board 3.
Gaponenko against Tanya Sachdev.
Ina Gaponenko has a rook and a very dangerous passed pawn on a file, and it might be that this pawn will cost black a knight. I don't really believe black is in time to regroup somehow. It's usually tough against this pawn.
It is, especially with the knight on c8.
Yeah, and the knight on c8 is really terribly placed. So, but on the other hand,
I'm thinking if you give up a piece for that pawn, can you still build a fortress?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It might be that something like that will happen to be a fortress, a bishop versus rook. It's never easy to win this kind of positions. It's never easy to win unless black has some weaknesses in his pawn formation, which he doesn't.
Yeah. Of course, Tanya would prefer to keep the pieces and somehow block this a pawn, but we don't see a way to maneuver around.
Yeah, I don't think there is any. Yeah, because the only square you might possibly hold this pawn is a8. Knight is too far from a6. a7 is not controlled by the bishop, so if you, I'm guessing in a couple of moves it's going to be like a6, rook b7, a7, and you will have to take on a7. So potentially this is the board where Ukraine has hopes to take the full point. And how about board 4? Where it's it's a first game for young Ukrainian Natalia Buksa in this World Championship. She had been to hhanty-mансийск.
She won the World Junior Championship.
She became the World
here.
Junior Champion here in hhanty-mансийск a couple of years ago. Right, that's the position after the time trouble, equal material, and hard to say whose position is better. So black has a bit more control over the center, and after knight d4 I don't think this b-pawn runs too far. It is protected by nicely placed knight on d5, but it seems you can hardly get a good moment to play b7 because the pawn will be attacked. Might be still white who is trying though. Okay, as long as white doesn't lose this one, it's fine for Ukraine. Because Gaponenko has chances to win and Ushanina should be able to hold the draw.
It's really tough because yesterday it was Tanya who decided the match in favor of India, and today it might depend on her game that
Yeah.
India does not tie the score with Ukraine.
Right. Well, as for United States versus Poland, we remember first game was it's 2-1. Yeah, it's 2-1 for Poland and only one game in progress on board 2. Yeah, Sabina Foyshore against Kalvina Shepkowska. That's the position. And what's going on here? It's still better for white, is it? Not clear. Not clear. This D pawn is quite a strong one. But other than that, of course, it's white who dominates. I don't know really. Move
Yeah.
number 46.
We shall go on a short break now, and then we will be back with these games from the women's tournament and also the open section. So don't go far. We will be back in a couple of minutes, and make sure that in the meantime you send us your questions by using the hashtag #UGRAChess on Twitter. See you very soon. Welcome back to the broadcast of the World Team Chess Championship, Day 3. So many exciting games. Some of the matches are already decided. We shall tell you about the results so far and what can we see in the coming hour or two.
Right. In fact, I think only one match in each section is finished. And in both cases, it's a team of Egypt who finished their match. They've lost in the open section 3-1 to Poland, and they still did not take a single half a point, regrettably, in the women's section. This time it was 4-0 defeat against Georgia. As for the others, some matches are determined in a way that
The
one team
result
has
is
already
known.
won, right? I'm guessing China has already won in the women's section against Vietnam, even though one game is still in progress. It's 2.5 against half a point, where Tan Zhongyi is still playing. So Zhu Wenjun won. And they won, letting Ye won on board 3. Tan Zhongyi is still playing. I can probably show the.
Let's just talk about the results first, and then we show the positions. So the Chinese ladies, they have beaten Vietnam. Russia, the women's team, we saw Valentina Gunina suffering. This is a position that we shall have a look at once we.
Yeah, I'm guessing
are
it's
able
completely
to-
lost. It's still the game is still in progress, but Gunina is completely lost, I believe, and.
Which
Yeah.
means that Olga Girya needs to win in order to level the score against Azerbaijan.
And
So
what we are shown, it's another match of Russia, a men's team of Russia versus Ukraine, where only one game is in progress. It's Vladimir Fedoseev with white in what seemed a bit better ending. He only needs to make a draw in order for Russia to win the match. And that's the
Jan
current.
Nepomniachtchi was the player to score a victory in this very important match between Russia and Ukraine. So on board two, we saw a very sharp position which could have gone either way. Finally, it was Korobov who made a mistake, and Nepomniachtchi managed to take advantage of it with a beautiful sacrifice. Knight takes e6. You shall have a look at that game if you were not here with us.
Right. What's still in progress? It's Turkey versus Norway, 2 draws, and in the other 2 games, in fact, we thought Frode Elsnes would win for Norway on board 4. The game is still in progress, and
Can
it
we
still
show-
looks somewhat sharp, this one, possibly because I'm personally thinking that he has made a mistake here not playing knight e2. I might be wrong though, but yeah, so my point is that after rook c5 he still has queen d4, swapping queens, after which apparently the game has to finish.
So he's a
he-
piece up, but there's some complication because of the weak king,
Yeah,
the white
king
king.
went to h3, and then rook c5 was played, attacking the queen. Bishop g4 is in fact the possibility. It could have been played immediately, this bishop g4 move, where white will have to take, rook takes, king. Is that clear? No, it's not. I mean, it's a weak king. It's a lot of pieces for white for the queen, but it's by no means it's clear. I'm guessing what he means by rook c5. Now I realize rook c5. If you don't have anything better than moving the queen, and then after bishop g4 you take, then it's all of a sudden it's black who is superior, because it's a check, and then the rook falls on g1. So it's not clear at all, this
Turn of
one.
events on board 4, it seems the Norwegian player was in control. Could it be the famous mistake on move 41?
Yeah.
So he made the time control, and then he played.
Right. Like
Oh no,
queen
here it was
c4
still good. No,
Yeah,
it
queen
was move
c4
42.
was probably fine. Yeah, check. I might be mistaken though, because I don't know. Is there anything he can do? Like takes rook f2. There is rook g2 seemingly. Okay, I don't know. At least I don't see white losing in this one. While the way it is in the game, white really needs a good move in order not to lose.
And the last game finishes in the match of China against the United States, Ray Robson against Wei Yi. We shall see
if it
the
finished
result
that
is a
fast, it must be
draw.
a draw. Yep, it's 4 draws in this one.
A good fight by the American team, stopping the Chinese. Four
Yes.
draws.
Yeah, 4 draws. So that means that Poland will be a sole leader in the open section after 3
Indeed.
rounds.
Now they have won their match against Egypt, so Poland sole leader. Who would have thought that?
Yeah,
There's
with
China,
Russia, yeah.
Ukraine.
Well, Ukraine after 2 draws, losing
match
today.
and 2 draws. It's unlikely that they can even achieve a medal. They will have to win every remaining match.
Yeah, as we speak of Ukraine, we should take a look at Ukraine's ladies match against India because 3 games were still in progress. One of them finished right now. On board 4, I believe it's a draw for Natalia Buksa. So let's find out. Yep, I'm guessing it's a draw. Right, so 2 draws on lower boards. On board 2, it will be an extra exchange for Gaponenko, it seems. Or maybe it's not that simple. It might be not that simple. Remember we said like it will cost this pawn will cost black a knight, but how exactly are you planning to win this? Because rook b7, I'm guessing Tanya is prepared to play bishop d5. And then
Rook
after
c7.
this, knight b6.
Building a blockade on a8.
Yeah, and then she's just in time. So
We missed this maneuver. We thought that black will have to give up a piece.
maybe to disturb this in a way. It's like rook d7. This might help because
Bishop e4.
yeah, if bishop e4, I thought a7. I'm
Okay,
not,
you have rook d6 check.
not
if knight
yet.
b6.
Yeah, I'm not yet threatening a8. But yeah, my plan is of course to meet knight b6 with rook d6.
So king
King
but
e6.
then
Yeah, you
can
don't
take
want
the
to lose
pawn.
the second pawn. You don't want to lose the second pawn, which might be still holding if you say blockade this one, but it's very unpleasant. I mean, to have white pawns on both sides. So but all the others are clear, I'm guessing. So 2 draws, and Harika went for this rook ending. Eventually, it was rook on c5.
3 pawns against 3
Yeah,
pawns.
it was this one when I thought it might have been a bit threatening, so that if king comes, drives the rook away. But yeah, the position which is on the board now gives white absolutely no chance. I believe it would have been a draw with 3 versus 3, a bit trickier one, but the one we've seen. Alexander Onyshuk made such draw in one of his games here in this tournament. So now black simply needs to put the rook behind the pawn, and this will be a draw. So it's all on Gaponenko in this match. And her game against Tanya Sachdev. This one, yeah, interestingly, Harika is still hoping to get something out of it. That's very, very unlikely. Shenina is tough. Once again, as we were talking of Khanty-Masiysk being a chess place, right? Ushenina became a world champion here. So it's another world champion in Ukrainian ladies team. And it was 2010, if I'm not... Or was it later? 2012, maybe.
11 or 12.
I'm getting confused, but it was...
That's why I have notes, we are not
that's
computers.
why you have notes, right? So Ushenina has won a women's knockout chess championship here in Khanty-Masiysk.
In 2012.
2012, right.
And Natalia Buksa, she became world junior champion here in 2015.
15. Yeah,
I can't read my own handwriting.
All right, Elsnes has...
Has Sanalapa finished, or he's just heading to the
Frode
toilet?
Elsnes has lost.
Just shocking
Yeah,
for Norway.
the game which we thought he would have won, he lost in fact. So it turns out that there wasn't anything better than the queen's retreat. Queen h4 was played, after which, this line and
this
not
is
even
over
queen
as
d4.
well. Sorry to
and an
interrupt you,
immediate-
but
Yeah, an immediate draw follows from Mustafa Yilmaz, who was
pressing.
he was pressing, but he was kind of keeping his game in order to see what's going to happen on the last board.
That's a very smart strategy
that's
in a
good
team
strategy
competition.
here. Yeah, so it's just a draw and they win the match.
A disappointing result for Norway. It seemed that on board 4 they were in control. It was a piece up for Frode,
Elsnes, yeah.
but there were some complications, and somehow it did not work out well for the Norwegian.
Right, so Turkey wins, and they are doing extremely well in this tournament. So 2 draws against very strong opponents, and then beating Norway in a match which looked tough for them. So what we are left with in the women's section, it's 1 game in China versus Vietnam, which will not change the match, even though it seems like Vietnamese will score there. Tan Jung-gi will lose. Look,
she?
it's gonna be her 2nd loss in a row. Right, she lost against Gaponenko. No.
She lost against Lagno.
She lost
In the
against
first
Lagno, and yesterday she won against Zhukova.
Yeah,
right.
every second day she wins. Maybe tomorrow she wins.
Could be. Right.
No, this is of course just a joke. You never know what the player will see in the position and what will happen in the game. Tang Zhong is of course a very strong player. She won the Women's World Championship this year. So she just had a bad game against Katerina Lagno, wanting too much in that game.
Yeah.
And today, well...
All right. Look what's going on in Gunina's game. She's about to get a chance. So now we are talking about ladies section match between Azerbaijan and Russia. 2 draws on the boards 1 and 3, where Russia had white pieces. Gunina was dead lost, and Olga Gira still a pawn up. And this is what happens in Gunina's game. So after knight e4, rook f4, a check here, knight f2, king d2, knight e4 check. Why Gunina is thinking? Because it's either knight e4 or you resign. Knight e4.
She has a draw.
No. I'll leave
You
this
will
rook.
give it up.
I'll
Okay.
leave the rook. That's what I'm thinking. So to say king e3 takes, and now I have a choice because I can have this one
All right.
h7,
Yeah, this
and
makes
then
sense.
bishop versus knight and pawn up. But I assume that this might be stronger. King e4 because you have
Rook
to play
h1
rook
is
h1.
forced.
Maybe
Check or-
doesn't help. I mean king d4
Yeah,
and then
same.
king e5. Yeah, so then this is just winning. King on a8 is simply too far.
Vidit has just finished against Zhigalko.
So it's a board 1 in India versus Belarus. Must have been a draw.
India is leading with 1 point thanks to Adiban's victory. This is his first victory. He lost his first 2 games, but now he is back with a victory against Vladislav Kovalev, and now Vidit against Sergei Zhigalko.
Must have been a draw. Rook c4, rook takes c6, rook takes b4, 2 pawns each in the rook ending.
I believe I can write that was a draw.
Yeah.
So the only remaining game is that by Krishnan Sasikiran against Kirill Stupak.
That's the most complex game out of those remaining. It was
Full
a
of
French
pieces.
defense. Yeah, French defense, this blocked center, and this is how they managed to keep all 8 pairs of pawns on the board. So there is only one semi-open file thanks to double pawns on c file,
Yeah,
and a
sorry,
board
but
full
let's
of
go
pieces.
back to the Mamadzada Gunina game for a second because she has played the critical line
And
as
she's
white.
winning.
Just let's show it once again. Why is it winning? And this is her birthday. So the Azeri player whose rating is quite below Gunina's
So
rating.
check on e4, king d3 takes. This all that was played, and then rook to e1 check. Okay.
Yeah, she's over 100 rating points lower. Well, supposed to be weaker than Valentina Gunina, but today is Gunay Mamadzada's day in all kinds of sense. So she went for this variation. She will just need to move the king,
Yeah, king to d4.
and after rook
Yeah,
h1,
rook h1 sooner or later has to be played. Then
king
the
will
king
go
is
to
coming,
g6.
and you even have a time to grab
the
this
pawn.
one as well.
You can even
yeah.
then promote the f pawn. This
the
is
f
hopeless.
pawn, yeah, that's hopeless.
So Valentina Gunina is losing, which means that Olga Giria has to win in order to level the match
Yeah.
and not lose to Azerbaijan.
Okay, will she win this one? That's the position. Yeah, that's about right because rook e3. I'm guessing White should have tried to keep this one passively, because f3 to me it looks like a blunder. Rook e3 and then b3 pawn is gone, and in this case takes, there is a little trick. Otherwise it would have been, possibly would have been fine for White.
Maybe she blundered this idea.
Knight f6, then probably take, put the rook behind, or maybe not even take. I go here and seemingly win the b4 pawn, which would give a decent chance for a draw, with only one pawn, all pawns being on the same wing. But yeah, but
So she went queen b5.
there is a trick, rook takes f3. She went queen b5. Maybe it was too quick, my assessment, because I thought, yeah, in this case black will simply take the pawn, but it might be not that simple. Rook b3 takes, yeah, I'm taking with a check, so that bishop f2, I have g3. Yeah, probably that should work. That
And
should
if the
work.
king moves?
Yeah, if the king moves, rook takes the piece back.
And I don't have anything.
Well, you probably take b4 and you still fight, because, yeah, those pawns are doubled. The king is still a bit unsafe. There might be some checks. In case if queens are coming off, there might be some drawish chances in a rook ending, even this way, being 2 pawns down. So you do not resign immediately, but it's a very good chance indeed.
Which means that it's likely to be a 2-2 between
Yeah.
Azerbaijan and Russia.
So
Russia
that-
will keep
the lead, right.
lead. Who can catch Russia?
Was there any team who...
Georgia has won.
Georgia has won, but they had 2 draws
Two
already.
draws. So they are a point behind Russia. If Russia makes a draw in this round against Azerbaijan,
Ukraine, if they win, they will catch up with Russia, because they drew their match against China and they won their first match.
so yes, depends on that match. But India, Ukraine, we also thought it's going to be a 2-2. And if
Yeah, it's because Gaponinko, at some point we thought like she's winning,
Yeah.
but now, it's not clear how to make progress in this one. So it's all very, very tense.
and this is just round 3. It's a
Right.
very tough tournament. Of course, every round is difficult. You see the Russian women's team leading comfortably, and now they are suffering to equal the score against the
Azerbaijan.
weaker team.
Yeah, right. That's interesting, because Russia has won 3-1 against their main rival Chinese team, and it could have been more, in fact.
Yes, and you
It
would
could have
think
been
that
more.
then it means that the rest of the rounds will be relatively easy. Then you see them facing Vietnam yesterday. They
Yeah, it
weren't
wasn't tough.
that comfortable, and now Azerbaijan.
Yeah, and I guess we are ready for another interview, and that's maybe a nice thing, because we are running out of things to talk about.
Okay, let's go to the press center.
Good evening, dear friends, and our guest is Wahab Shanal from Turkey. He won his game, which made his team also win the match against Norway. So please tell us about your game.
Well, I was the only one who was in danger, actually, in our match, like all the time. Suddenly, Dragon and, our first board and third board made draw. And okay, I was still in danger, so I was hoping that the second board will win. So, and I was fighting for draw, and suddenly my opponent gave me some chances to win. And after that, I think I used that chance very well, because he was in side note, and I sacrificed the piece. And suddenly it was like, okay, all the pieces were, were threatened, and it was not easy to play for him, and I won the game.
great, and actually Turkey made a sensation here as up to this moment, because you made 2 draws against Ukraine and Russia, and also you won today. So what's the secret?
First game, I was not involved in the first game, but I was supporting them. And yesterday, well, just 4 draws. I mean, it was not easy, but we managed to make 4 draws.
Yes, but I mean, so you are showing a great results, your team. So do you have a secret?
I think it's just, I mean, we love each other. We know each other for a long time, so I think it's a bit team spirit.
And how many teams event have you taken part in your career?
Sorry?
In how many chess events, how many team events have you taken part in your career?
Well, I just, if you mean national team, just once, but I was playing in under 16 or like some under 16 Olympiads, that's all. Maybe 5, 6, yeah.
So how do you like playing here?
Well, this is totally different than under 16 because like opponents are always favorite to us. And I mean, I wish I can play such tournaments more, but I mean, I'm just trying to use this chance. I see as an experience.
Your team coach is Mikhail Krasenkov, and do you have an individual coach by yourself?
Well, I used to work with Gurevich, Mikhail Gurevich, and after that I just use national teams supports, and I only work with national coaches, that's all. I don't have a coach.
How many training camps did you have during this year?
Training camps? 2017. I think 0. I was just working with my friends, that's all. Yeah.
What's your ambition in this event?
In this event, I just want to support my team. I mean, doesn't matter on the board or off the board, but I just want my team to win medal. Yeah.
And the last question, how do you feel here in Khanty-Mansiysk?
It's my 3rd time, and I like it here. It's a little bit, you know, population is not that much. I mean, so we can focus easily.
Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thanks.
Only a few games are left in this round 3 of the World Team Championship. Fedoseyev has just finished. He drew his game against Kravtsev.
Yes, and they are leaving the playing hall happy so that they won the match against the most principal rivals in this tournament versus Ukraine. So
Russians celebrating their victory. We shall see if they can celebrate also the victory of the women's team. Unlikely. Today it's unlikely that the women's team can win.
No, it's
even
not
unlikely
possible.
if they draw.
Yeah, they have to make a draw. They have to make a draw now. Gunina is completely lost. That's what we thought.
So the point is that here, even though she has a rook still on the board, the white king will simply support those passed pawns, and you will have to give up your rook for the pawn.
Yeah, you can go king f7, king g8, or you can just play f6, threatening f7, so there is no king e8. Yeah, and it will be black, in fact, to force white king to go to f7 after this check. No, it's hopeless. And interestingly enough, the game of Olga Giria went the direction I've mentioned. So that's the after queen b5. So that's a board 4 for Russia versus Azerbaijan. Fatalieva versus Giria. Giria did take on b3. Takes king g1, rook g3, and rook f1 intermediate was played. This might be a very clever move, in fact, because to use the time that black rook got stuck on g3 just for this tiny moment and try to improve and maybe come up with some sort of perpetual. Might be a clever move to play, because now you are getting tempted to protect this pawn, right? But well, actually there is a check on a7. There is a check on a7.
King h2, you will just move the rook.
Probably
but I have
move
queen
the rook, and that is
f5.
queen f5.
I have perpetual almost.
Yeah, and if I play rook b3, check, the only way to prevent perpetual is g6, after which some sort of queen e6. Who is winning? I don't know. I mean, rook f7, rook is hanging. Again, So it gets a bit messy, and it would be nice to know the time of the players, because, you know, Olga Giria, I mean, of course she's a very experienced player, but this is the moment when you can get nervous, when it's such a
And
lot.
finally, Gonina's game is over, which shall mean that
Yeah, it's 2-1. Yeah.
has won. Azerbaijan leading against Russia. Russia, they were the sole leaders before this round, and now Mamadzada upsetting the score. The birthday girl giving herself a birthday present,
Right.
beating Valentina Gonina.
Queen G6, meanwhile, played by Olga Giria, so she wants to be on the safer side. So, well, she claims 2 extra pawns will be enough, which is probably right. And yeah, still, I don't believe there is a direct way to win, so she will have to work, move the rook, and then it will take some time. So what we are left with, by the way, the only remaining game in the United States versus Poland match, seems that finally Sabina for sure has the real chance to level the score for United States of America. To remind you, Poland leads 2-1 after a victory of Claudia Coulon. That's the position. It's an extra exchange for Sabina Foyshore. Well, should be a technical position. It should be a technical position. So I don't know what. Apparently, you want to keep as many pawns as possible, so you probably go a4, and I don't know, even if, yeah, probably black can say build up something like this so that everything looks protected, right? But then the king comes here, and the rook is in such a position. Rook is a great piece in a way that it can multitask, stopping the c pawn and attacking the g7 pawn. While
And what is the exact winning plan here?
I'm guessing I'll just put in at zugzwang, because bishop protects both pawns, but therefore it's not moving at all. So for instance here,
king
in order
on f5, rook on.
yeah, you go here, I go here, right? Yeah, I just go rook c8, and that's it. And basically I just collect c3, after which I say collect c3, and then I don't know, can put the rook this time to a7, try for another zugzwang, or bring the king all the way here to b5 and take. Now since
And this position without the queen side pawns.
must be still winning, but or
Is it?
no.
I
How
thought
do you
it was
win?
a draw.
How do you win?
I thought that if
No.
you take away those pawns, then it's a draw.
Ah, you mean like if we exchange? That could be a draw. In fact, yeah. For instance, white plays this, right, and takes c4, and black just. For sake of curiosity, black does not protect a6 just to see if this position is winning or not. Yeah, right. You just shuffle on long diagonal.
Yeah, I
How
thought
can
this is a fortress.
How can I lose?
So Sabina needs to keep the a pawn on the board.
Even
I
though
believe.
this one-
You see a plan.
This
King
one.
on f8.
Now the thing is, like, you are in a wrong corner. So if somehow I will manage to trade to play g5, then to play. But how do I do this? Okay, it's a bit too far because I'm.
But it's better
guessing-
to keep the a pawn on the board.
Yeah, I'm
for
guessing
Sabina.
a3, a4 is the right move to play for Sabina for sure. Yep, then Ukraine. So we are left with this one, a game of Olga Giria, and a couple of games in the match of Ukraine versus India, where we suspect both of them have to finish in a draw. It's just a draw, I believe, in Harika's game against Ushenia. I'm not sure why Harika is still playing, to be honest.
So the game between Inna Gaponenko and Tanya Sajdev, is there any progress from any side?
Not really. Not really. White puts the pawn on a7, and black manages to cover the a8 square. The last
H5 by Tanya?
Yeah, last move h5 by Tanya Sajdev. You probably can't win this because knight is put on 8 and then
H4.
it's a
Gaponenko.
very long diagonal, so you will never ever disturb this bishop. H4. G2 pawn is permanently hanging. When you put it here, okay, H4, let's say I just... Can I wait in a way? Okay, bishop goes here. G3, I mean, when I'll wait for white to play G3 and then I don't even need my king, it seems, so I can put the knight on A8 passively and then put the bishop here and just go king F6 because...
Protect the G6 pawn in case it's necessary after rook G8. What we see is that Gaponenko is in time trouble again. She often gets into time trouble. Tanya still has
10
about
minutes.
10 minutes.
So this is likely to be a draw, and it will mean 4 draws between Ukraine and India. Indeed, very solid teams. And in fact, it's India who is a bit higher rated, at least in this match, it seems. Yeah, now I'm comparing the boards. Harika is higher rated than Ushenina, almost by 100, okay, 80 elo points. 20 points, elo points more for Irina Gaponenko compared to Tanya Sachdev, and on board 3 and 4, it's again Indians who are higher rated.
A little bit higher.
Of course, we all know how, let's say, experienced and how dangerous Ukrainian team is. So, and again, Ushenina being rated 2450, it's perhaps on her low.
Yeah, she was close to 2500. And let's remember that the Ukrainian team is missing their top players. Anna and Maria Muzichuk are not here. So in both the men's and the women's tournament, the Ukrainian team unfortunately couldn't bring their best lineup. Ivanchuk is not here, Voloketin is not here, Pavel Alyanov is not here.
What's going on in Foyshore against Shepkovska? Can we go back? Anyway,
sure, let's go back to that one if you want.
Yeah, I just want to show the other positions. For instance, this is Harika against Ushenina, the rook ending, which we said it's just a draw, right? Then Giria against Fotalieva. Now I'm guessing Giria should be completely winning.
Simplifying to a queen endgame.
Yeah. No, I just thought, who's to move? Black's to move, right? This followed by this. Does it win on a spot? No, no, there is a check on e4. It does win on a spot, but for white. For white.
Don't blunder in the last moment.
Should not do this. Queen b6 though was given. King h1. Now it's a time. It's a time to move. How do you win this one? I mean, too many squares. It's still... By the way, now the king is stalemated. So if by some miracle I will be able to get rid of my queen and rook, that would be embarrassing, I have to say. For instance, you go, can we do this? I don't know. This allows a perpetual check. This allows but just imagine this for some reason, and then it's rook f8 followed by queen e8. It's of course, this helpmate style, or help stalemate in this case. But anyway,
I'm
there
not
is
sure
some
that the captain of the Russian team would love seeing that on the board.
Something like that, right? Yeah, but the most instructive out of those positions which are remaining is this game of Foyshore and Shepkovska, where Foyshore just played rook a2, allowing c3, after which he went king e2. And this is something I don't quite understand, because now it seems to me it will be possible to lock this rook like that, kind of putting it on d2, the bishop on d2. So king d3, bishop d2. Does it really help? I was planning to run with the king quickly, but apparently I'm not in time. King is still cut on f-file, and then a6 pawn is doomed. Yeah, I'll play a4.
This is still winning.
Yeah, this is still winning, even though somewhat awkward way to place the rook on a3, on a2.
Sabina for sure needs to win this winning position. Technically, still some difficulties, but it's a winning position. And if she wins, then she ties the score with Poland.
And look what happens. Gira repeated the moves. So
Did she?
can it be that she's low on time? Because this is what you do in a position which you are supposed to win. I mean, you can repeat the position a couple of times. It was rook b1, queen f3. She gave a check and then she returned with her queen. Not that white has anything else but to take. But to play king
come back
g1.
with
Yeah,
the
so
king.
king g1 is needed. King g1 is on the board. Can she somehow improve the situation for her? It's like some sort of rook b4 possibly, so that I'm threatening this check again.
And you protect the g3 pawn, because in the other
Yeah.
position after check, moving the rook, the pawn
Yeah,
was
the
falling.
pawn was falling.
Could be that this is a better option.
Right, but still...
Of course, this position should be winning for black, but it's not that easy to convert with...
somehow... Yeah, I mean, even the rook ending might... Yeah,
Because she's got time, 9 minutes.
Yeah, she's got time. In fact, it's white who is shorter on time. Supposedly, she thought this check and did the same way as I said, queen b5, seemingly winning on the spot because you attack an f1 rook, but there is queen e4 check, which is unpleasant. So, yeah, rook b4.
Indeed.
Yeah. Rook b4 played with queen on g6. And white has got a little bit more than 1 minute.
What shall she do now? Queen b6 is a huge threat. Well, basically mate in 2.
Right. And then this is something I wasn't sure about. For instance, will that be winning? It normally should. Because, yeah, the problem is you cannot
Can't take the
activate
pawn.
the rook, yeah, because there is always a check from b1. So indeed, with rook being passive, slowly that should be winning.
And if not queen e3, how do you prevent queen b6?
Well,
This
maybe there is just
this is
no
winning
way.
for Giria. She found the best way, so now it
Yeah,
is either a losing rook endgame or mate.
Well, between those two, I would choose a losing rook endgame. So, queen e3. 17 seconds. It's still a very, very important game for Russia, of course. Yeah, they might be disappointed not winning this one, but rook e1 allows her not to get mated after this.
She wants to go to f1 after the check.
Yeah, but doesn't black win
On the
by
spot.
some staircase thing?
I was thinking of
Check.
the same, yes.
Check where my staircase leads.
Now you need the rook.
Check
You
here.
need the rook jumping the
And,
queen.
yeah, and I need rook f4 move. I mean, I might be winning still after
Yeah.
queen f4, but this, yeah, you would prefer to win faster.
But she has enough time on the clock to figure this out. This is a winning position, and all she needs to do is to convert it.
Yeah, what I can say, a team of Azerbaijan they are already heroes today. Even
are.
if they only hold Russia
The
for
Russian
a draw.
women's
That's
team.
such a powerful team to make a draw against. And a lot of draws, a lot of being draws in the women's section, it seems. So what do we have till that moment? It's a victory for China. Eventually they are winning their first match, China versus Vietnam. 4-0 for Georgia versus Egypt. And that's it. And most likely it will be a draw for Russia-Azerbaijan.
But Gunin Mamadzada is the hero of the day in the women's section,
Right.
beating Valentina Gunina.
Then United States of America, in case Sabina for sure wins, it will also be a draw. US versus Poland. And India-Ukraine also looks like 4 draws.
Shall we see once again board 1 and board 2, India, Ukraine?
India-Ukraine.
So as we mentioned, the
That's
open
it.
section is over already. The guys decided that today should be a short day for them. They've been playing for 4.5 hours
Right.
until the last match
that was
finished.
quite fast. Yeah, but three ladies, much more stubborn, much more fighting spirit, I would say. No, not that the open section it wasn't all draws in, it was
No, of course.
just a quick round. Sometimes it happens. Right, looking at this position on board 1, Harika against Tushenin, I'm trying to picture any scenario where black would lose this. And I can't imagine really. F5, you have to attack this rook, then come all the way to, C7, and only then your pawn moves. This is how you lose with the side-passed pawns. I mean, this is the scenario how you lose with side-passed pawn. That you bring the king, meanwhile black takes a pawn or two, and in the end you promote, or say force black to give the rook, but too many pawns for black on the other side of the board. It won't happen. It won't happen here. It's just that Harika will try for a little bit.
Do you think she's also waiting because of Tanya's game?
Could be that. By the way, how about, can't it be that Tanya got into some kind of trouble?
Did she? Shall we see her position?
Okay, probably not yet, but I kind of have an idea. For white. So, say the bishop goes to h1. Then I would give a check.
King f6.
So then that depends. Yeah, king g4. I'll just give a check and take the pawn. Then I cut this. Maybe I even do this. So what I want to bring my king all the way here. What do I want? Then I can attack this knight with the king, but then I'm unable to attack it with the rook.
Yes.
So it doesn't help. Yeah. Imagine the position was king being on b8. It's great. It's a very active king, but then there is no file on which the rook can.
Do you know what you can do? Bring the rook to b7.
That's
That would
clever.
be-
If this will be played, then it's really amazing. Yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been nice to see.
So it's going to take ages, but we are talking about a position where the white king is on b8 and you bring your rook to b7.
Let's show. Say black thought as I thought, so it's just a fortress. This. And then all of a sudden rook b5 and probably you resign here.
Next
because
move, rook b7, you give up
knight
the
is
rook.
trapped, and then it's rook b7, king takes and king back.
Yeah, and if bishop takes the rook,
Here, check, and here. And then when you take, it's king c8, and it's black who is winning.
Mated.
Yeah, and even it's black who's winning.
Oh,
but
no.
I've kind of cheated you here because after king
Did you?
d8, I'm guessing something like
go
rook
for the
g7 is
g-pawn.
very, very dangerous for black with king being cut.
Yeah,
might still be a
problem-
draw, but you don't want this with black.
The problem
Black
is
should-
that black needs to defend on both wings, and you have a rook as white, so you can just go back and forth,
Yeah.
threatening on both flanks.
Right, meanwhile in Ushenina's game now I have little doubt it's gonna be a draw because her pawn is already on g4 and she won't take, she will simply bring the king here. So king c3, I'm going there. Wait a sec, can this be somewhat dangerous or not really? This, a check. Rook b4. I'm still in time to... that's funny and maybe instructive in a way because this is a draw as well. Have to wait for a promotion, but anyway, that's the only way to make this rook ending exciting, so please be patient. Oof, I have to be patient. I have to restart
And
the
then you
applet.
will.
No, hopefully not. Please. It's a queen on b8.
Well,
Yeah, I shouldn't be showing these lines with promotions. Not at the end of the round. Because as you can see, it doesn't respond now. Yeah, wow, lucky me. So, b8 queen and h2. And this is one of those few cases where h2 pawn plus another pawn is not losing. This is a well-known draw, but with the pawn on f5, what's the thing? Yeah, with the pawn somewhere else, it would have been lost. But what's the thing here? After those checks, okay, you make this staircase. You're getting your queen closer, and it turns out you don't have g4 square.
Yes, and white
So just go here.
doesn't want to take the f pawn because
Yeah,
black's
if you
idea.
take, then it's
Yes.
always go to h1.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a draw if it's only an h2 pawn because
Here,
black will
this square.
stalemate herself.
Yeah. So you try, you give a couple of checks, then you take a check, and this is very important. Okay, actually it's not. King here, queen h3, king here.
And now king h1.
Now it's very important not to give your pawn, but
And
to go
that's
to
the
h1.
problem of this position, this queen against pawn, that you don't have time to bring the king as white because
It's
it's
a
a
stalemate.
So you have to move the queen away and the black king comes out, once again threatening promotion. So this is a draw, but what Yevgeny was saying is that with the pawn on f5, it is
It's-
still a draw because
Yeah.
it is covering a crucial square.
g4 square, yes. So over there, if I would by mistake go king g1, then I would lose after this check. Yeah, and then I'm simply losing this pawn because king h1 and queen f2, and this in fact explains why it's lost with any other pawn on the board. So
Beautiful. So
right. So what was it? It was a long line, far from reality, in which it was
Well, we
still a
had
draw.
fun.
No, I just wanted to show that black kind of can try to misplay it, and it still happens to be a draw. Right. What Ushenica did was g3. Will she play for a win at some stage?
maybe.
Yeah, because don't really. Wait a sec. Go here. Go to c5. Yeah, and then she's playing for a win. Takes. I thought I'm being clever. Rook. No, I'm not. No. Rook b2, rook b6. I'm taking and takes. Takes. Now I will not promote because it takes time. But just to show, so g2, b8. It's g1 with a check, which is important. Otherwise, it would have been queen h8, queen
Winning
g8.
the queen.
Right. But again, none of the above will happen. I'm guessing Harika will be careful enough not to play this position as the defending side.
What about
It
Tanya's
simply doesn't
position?
make sense. Tanya's position is this. At the moment, she's trying to prevent this king from entering. So king e6 after king c3. What's that? So it's king c3 and a draw for on board one. It's a draw for Harika and Ushenica. So in fact, Gaponinko versus Tanya, it's the only remaining game here in this match. It's Foyshor against Shepkovska, which is still in progress, and it's Fatalieva versus Giria, which is still in progress. So, what do we do?
This is a tense moment now on board two between
So we stay.
Ina
We stay.
Gaponenko
Yeah,
and Tanya
Gaponenko,
such
Tanya. Yeah, let's
that
be
will decide the fate of the entire match.
King e5. So now it's a moment that she can give a check and penetrate with the king, it seems, or not, because
Bishop E4.
seemingly there is bishop e4, and for a bit I thought you will be in Zugzwang, but knight c7, and after king b6, knight
This is
a8 back, and you
beautiful.
are not
Can
you are
I
not
color?
through.
That you
Yeah.
cannot cross. All these squares are under control. So black is not allowing the white king cross.
Right. So that means I simply keep a king on e5 and move the bishop. Whenever I'm getting checked from e5, I play bishop e4. So I'm thinking that white's chance might be, kind of pretend that she's not in time, so that the king gets to g4. Black becomes active, and
Moving
then
the
to
king.
go. Then to go.
Is it a different position that they have?
Yeah, after king e5, I don't know what has happened. King is already on d6. So, king e4. Or, what? No, king e6 maybe? No, it was a check. She played king f5.
No,
After
bishop
this,
e4.
yeah, king g4. Is she getting anywhere? Rook to b1. Why not rook e3? To protect this one?
I don't know.
Because bishop f3, I'll go here, and then if you take, I'm guessing I'm winning now.
Yeah, next move you
King
take the bishop
c8
and
and
king b7.
Or maybe not again.
Oh, it's too much?
This
Too many moves?
takes this.
G4.
Can it be that I'm in time? G5 takes. No, G5. I just take the knight.
Yeah, white will.
Yeah, this is winning.
But
Rook b1.
what is rook b1?
Okay, rook b1 attacks the bishop. So that it will be. She will be faster to play rook b7. So now if the bishop moves to f3, let's try this. King here, king here. Okay, this will lose, right? King b8.
Are you sure?
Rook b7. No, of course not.
Because the h pawn is
h4,
too quick.
h3. This will lose for white. I take now and I play h2. Exchange the queens and my g-pawn is still alive. Olga Giria has won. Olga Giria has won and she levels the score for Russia.
And that is the captain of Team Russia explaining how she could have won maybe earlier.
Yeah, but this is
Still, this was a necessary victory.
in
but
this situation it's the result what matters.
So 2-2 between Azerbaijan and Russia. Russia in the women's section is still the leader, but it was definitely a tough match for them today. They could have lost against Azerbaijan.
So that's the final position. So how did she win? After that, it was a check here. I know. After rook e1, that was a smart move. Rook to h4, rook to g4, intending perhaps to play queen h5 and rook g6. After queen f3, it was a couple of checks. Queen went to c4, so that rook f4 is threatening. Rook g6 and too many threats apparently. Queen b1, queen h4, and everything has finished.
2-2, and
Yeah.
now Russia is happy, but before the match I'm sure that it was not the result they were aiming for.
Yeah. Right, so Gaponenko versus Sachdev.
Is
This
this
is
the
the-
only game?
No.
Oh, it's also Sabina Foyshor against Karina Shevkovska.
This is the position there, by the way, and it looks like it's still there are still some difficulties. Somehow, remember Black King being all the way back on h7. Somehow now the king is activated. So this might have some time. I suggest we switch to Gaponenko because she's in a time trouble and it really gets exciting. She's about to get this idea of king.
And it might be even losing if she's too slow making it.
Yeah, but rook b5 is apparently a clever move, so that rook g5 is possible. Now if you take, what happens here? It's a check. Alright, it's a check. And then if king h3, for instance, what do I do?
She would
It's too early to take, maybe?
take the pawn
Probably
first.
she takes the pawn. After bishop e4, she can play rook g7, takes, and now try to get the king to b8. So it's still very, very tense. And the move Tanya makes
This I'm not sure
might
about.
be losing.
With check
This
and coming
move
with
might
the
be
king.
losing because, yeah, maybe she just doesn't see this idea of bringing a
Or-
rook to b7.
Yeah, rook b4.
A rook b4 also makes sense. To keep the rook on b file, right? So
Yeah,
that
and I
if
don't let
king
you
goes
take the pawn, and
here,
now I'm going-
king d7. So you have to well, and actually, this is unpleasant because again, bishop is
Where do
running
you
under
go?
those tempi. Say I go to f5. maybe this is the only thing I can do, and then try
Then king c8.
try for this defensive method.
King
But I'm not in
d6.
time. You're first. You cut the king.
Yeah.
It's very important because if you go king b8, then I'm just in time. King d7, rook check, and
Rook
king
b4
d8.
is on the board.
Rook b4 is on the board. All of a sudden, Ukraine
Is winning.
has got a winning chance, I would say.
Yeah, it's still, of course, with 48 seconds on the clock, it's not sure that Gaponenko will win, but she has a winning position.
Right, we believe so. So this must be winning now. Rook to b4. Not much you can do.
No, this is a very unpleasant move. You have
King
to
to
come back with
f5.
the king. Now king
Yeah,
d7.
King f5. Now it has to be king d7. Yeah, first of all, she has to spot this nice idea you've spotted. Getting to
Thanks.
c8.
I spot one idea.
Wait a sec. By the way, can it be that this king f5 is a decisive mistake? Because
But didn't we say that king f3 was also
king
bad?
f3, right, king d7. What happens if I give a check? And king c6. And I don't have another check because you
I
will take
it
now.
and king b7.
And funny enough, you're just in time by one tempo. And it's king c6,
Yeah.
not king c7. Yeah, king e5. Yeah, and I think
Savina has finished. Isn't that a draw?
Is it a
That's bad
draw?
news for the American ladies.
really, it cannot be a draw. I don't believe really.
Okay, maybe I didn't see the.
That's
King position.
That's the position. I don't think it's
Don't
a
tell
draw.
me they
No,
win a
no.
draw.
Can
Draw.
they say draw? But what's that?
Maybe.
How is that a draw?
Maybe the kings were placed wrongly to transmit the result of the game.
I don't believe
This
it's a
is-
draw. I mean,
I mean, Sabina
You-
cannot offer
you,
a
you,
draw.
you do not make a draw in such a situation.
No.
You do not make a draw in such a situation. It's ridiculous.
Maybe if we can see the board of Sabina Foyser against Karina Shepkovska.
I don't know. It says a draw. I'm not sure.
Maybe
The-
this is not the final position. We are missing some moves, maybe.
I don't see how you misplay this one. It's just like rook a6 is coming, you drive the king back, then you move with your own king. You think it might have been that she resigned. Anyway, let's go back to Gaponenko because this is very, very interesting. I hope we can get somehow what result it was. So
Yeah,
king is
so-
on f5, bishop g2. Now white only needs to play king c8 and to meet. Wait a sec. Well, apparently she doesn't see this one.
What's that?
Check, in fact, helps black king to get closer.
What is she doing?
This check, in fact, helps black king to get closer. A check, king f6. What she's doing, she has cut this king on 5th rank, so her pawn is safe.
Yeah, but I don't want your king to come back to the
King
defense.
d7, right? And this. Wait.
Anyway, she will attack the g pawn.
Yeah, with king on e7, I move the bishop. We got too excited because rook b7 I will take, and king takes and king d7. So I
and
don't
you
even need.
stalemate me, so it's not
Yes,
working.
so it's not working. This idea.
And was it working without giving check?
Apparently not.
Not-
Bishop
not in
g2.
time.
King is still close enough. So this king e6, rook b7 I already can take.
Yeah, and king d7 when,
And I
when
even
you
have-
take the knight. Shall we show it that
Yeah,
it's
this.
even-
I know. Yeah, let's say white starts by playing rook b7. I simply take, go here, and when you take the knight, it's king c8, and,
And black is
you're
winning.
losing,
Black,
right? g4 takes, h5, g3 takes. No, it's a draw.
stalemate.
Queen,
Beautiful.
queen takes, stalemate to his king, to this king on a8. So white cannot lose this one
Wow.
unless she blunders the whole rook.
But that is a very important defense found by Tanya Sajdev.
King
So
e6.
she has built a fortress.
So do you believe she had seen all that, or possibly it's just by pure luck, because she wasn't defending all that confidently, this one?
With time trouble, it's
We-
difficult
yeah.
to say. Also, intuition sometimes just helps you.
King b8, but now you're not coming out of this. I'm thinking king d7, and then to switch to this side.
Bishop e4.
This bishop e4. Let's say I need to kind of make progress. I thought theoretically it can be that. Oh no, actually this way I'm winning g6 pawn. Might again have chances, or maybe. What's that, for
That's
instance?
such
That's probably
an interesting
winning.
endgame.
That's probably winning again, because I have one idea and I have the. Yeah, this should be winning. So then maybe this rook b5 in fact is a clever move.
Yeah, it could be the best move. We didn't see this idea
Bishop
that Kaponenko
h1.
spotted.
Bishop h1. So it's still tricky because at the moment neither of those ideas work. Rook b7 still can be taken and king d7 will be played. To rook g5 black still has king f6 as a response. So now I'm sure she plays the best moves.
Yes, bishop
Still-
h1 was smart.
White has to try g4, I'm guessing. White has to try g4.
Yeah, she's going for that.
Yeah, so rook g5 was played at least. King to f6. Is there any way? Because you can try to get the rook to 8th rank, then somehow attack this pawn. I mean, it's white who's still trying. 30 seconds left for Kaponenko. This might keep us long with the off. Rook b5 back, king e6. So it was rook g5, king f6, then rook b5 and king e6 back.
I have a feeling that this will be a very long draw.
Very long draw. Yeah, now the result got corrected, of
Okay,
course.
so Sabina
for
has
sure
won.
wins.
That
yeah.
is the correct result, and that's the correct attitude, because her team was losing, so of course she didn't offer a draw. She won and she leveled the score. It's 2-2 Poland against the United States.
So 2 draws already. It's Russia versus Azerbaijan a draw, and Poland versus the United States of America. And here, this is the last remaining game of round 3. Ina Kaponenko tries to, not to outplay, but to trick, I would say, Tanya Sachdev. Rook b3, a waiting move. Bishop to g2. All right. Maybe a check now, so that to see where the king is going. Yeah, I would really try to, to play for something. By the way, there is no, the king is not coming here. If the king gets to g4, let's say, in this cut with rook g5, then probably white is winning again. Rook b2. Maybe she will play a few moves quickly, just in order to get some time. And move 51 was the last moment in this game where the pawn moved. Now we are at move number 74, so almost halfway distance in this 50 moves rule. I don't think this will be a case here.
I guess she will try to push g4 at some point.
Yeah, that seems to be the only try, as long as black will not leave too far with the king voluntarily. That's the only try. Alright, so bishop goes to h1. So what's going to happen now? Rook b5 now. Yeah, here you have to give a check, just to confuse your opponent, so it's not the same position. To make it tougher for your opponent. King c8. This is something... I mean, this is another idea.
True.
You will not be allowed to achieve this, but at least you can pretend that.
Plan B.
Yeah. For instance, you go king f5, making an argument that you're still in time after rook b7 to play king e6, and then I cut the king on the e file. And maybe it's still nothing. That's the problem. Maybe it's
And
still
in
nothing.
practice, this is still a very good chance for Gaponenko because of the time situation and that it is white who is pressing. So Tanya has to make always the most
now
precise
it's Gaponenko who
moves.
has more time. So, yeah, it might be not for long, of course. But, yeah, so she puts some pressure. Bishop to d5, which we like, don't like, I don't remember. No, but what white has to do in a situation like that, play sequences of moves. So it's better you spend time. Let's say, first of all, you have to get time in order to spend it. When you're always playing on increment, king to d8. So now she will try to move the king all the way back in order to get to g6 pawn.
It's not that easy to stop.
Not that easy to stop, you mean? King e8, king. I'm wondering, black should be balancing between, this defense, this defense being in time with the king and king f7, but what do you do after check? That's the question.
Yeah. Well,
Or king d7. This is even more dangerous because now your king is... Didn't she just lost?
maybe.
Because look, king f6, king d6 with a tempo, and then the king is getting cut on the file. King d7. Nice little idea from Gaponenko. In fact, so this happens to be a situation where the cure is worse than the disease, right? So look, you could allow king e8, I'm guessing. But playing king f7, allowing king here, bishop e4.
That was already a very nervous
Very
move.
nervous
The bishop
move on
is
8
somewhere
seconds,
between
which is not
e4
something.
and f4.
So the thing is now after this check there is bishop f5. And what? No, this is too late. This is too late, or not. King e6, and then I give this check now, and king b7. This might be already winning. And Tanya is on seconds indeed, 20 seconds left for her. After this check, must be a lost position. Definitely king g7 should lose because I go all the way back and then come back to this idea with rook b7. So check, bishop f5 was played, so now king c6, I'm guessing, should win for Ina Gaponenko.
King c6
Or king
and king
d6. King d6, by the way, also seems to be quite strong.
Yes, so that you don't allow king e6.
But king c6 is fine as well.
What if king e6 now?
I check on e2.
That's unpleasant.
And even after this, it's check on e2 because I control the e4 square. You can go to d8, but it's still king b7 and white
That's lost.
White is
Probably Tanya's position
winning.
was lost. It is just that Gaponenko needed to find this idea of threatening on both wings from time to time.
I'm still not sure if let's say, king f7 is a terrible move. I feel like, because how do you get to this pawn? You have to go all the way here, and then with your king on f8, I should probably be able to, to finally leave the queen side, to go king f5, g5, maybe exchange a pawn or even two. Not sure yet, but now it does look completely winning after king c6, king e7. Wait, what has happened? King e7, Gaponenko is thinking.
She's
Because
also
now-
nervous.
Now king b7, bishop e4, and we start again. It will be precisely the same position, so really this check is needed. King d8, king b7, wait a bit.
She's so nervous. She gave the check finally,
She
but
gave the
she was
check.
about to make something else.
Oof. So, a check on e2.
I think Tanya knows that this has gone wrong.
There isn't anything but king d8. How do we win this one, by the way? I was planning to give a check. Ah, yeah, and I should do this, and then a waiting move. Right? Yeah, this is winning. Yeah, rook happens to be a powerful piece when it's about switching from one flank to the other. So a check here.
Yeah, this is the position that they will reach. King
King
d8,
d8, king b7,
knight
knight c7. Now it's a time to give a check and make a
And she
waiting
does.
move. Bishop d7. Make a waiting move. Knight a8. Takes, king c7. And
You take the bishop.
Take the bishop. I can give a check as well and take it on c6.
Take
Yeah,
the
but
bishop.
right. Yeah, take the bishop on d7. Yeah, interesting. Rook d2. No. Knight on c7. Check. And bishop d7. And now it's like any move with the rook.
Look at that,
d1.
rook d1.
Rook d1, move number 83. Which
It's a beautiful silent move, winning the game and the match for Ukraine against India. It was not a lucky game for Tanya Sajdev, who yesterday won the match for India, and today it is her game that will decide in favor of Ukraine.
Yeah, but kudos to Gaponenko. Yesterday she saved the match
Yes, she
versus
seems
China.
to be in a very good shape, and she's the one scoring for the Ukrainian team. Tanya Sajdev resigns, which means that it is 2.5, 1.5 in favor of Ukraine.
So, Ukraine catches up with Russia on 2 wins and 1 draw in terms of match points.
This was a really long game. They have been playing for, well, almost
Not really. It felt long, and it was 83 moves.
5.5 hours.
5.5 hours. The longest so far was this game in round 1. I don't remember which one it was, but it was more than 100 moves. Yeah, she
I
has
can't
all the
remember
reasons
anymore.
to be disappointed, but
Yes.
yeah, but in fact, those endings are really, really unpleasant to defend. Not yet sure what she did wrong. Yeah, King F7, I'm sure was the decisive mistake over there.
Yeah, this was a
She
study-like position.
Should have kept it some other way. Right, and yeah, some explanation from the Indian team's coach, but yeah, it's a bit too late. What can we say? Any
Unfortunately,
tweets? Any?
I haven't seen any new ones. I'm just bringing up the pairings for tomorrow before we say goodbye, so that we can also talk about tomorrow's matchups. Just give me a second.
Hero of this match, Ukraine versus India, Ina Kaponika. I'm guessing even the Ukrainian coach has left.
The results of the day
result
in the
of
meantime.
today. India beating Belarus +1, a draw 2-2 for United States and China, all games being draws. Egypt lost to Poland, lost on board 1 and 2, but then there were 2 draws. Turkey has beaten Norway, and Turkey is on a plus score, and they didn't lose a single game after 3 rounds.
They are doing very
Tremendous
well.
performance by Turkey. And Ukraine loses to Russia, 3 draws, and Anton Korobov lost the game, which we thought was very good for him. Women's section, Ukraine has beaten India 2.5, 1.5. Georgia won 4-0 against Egypt, and China won 2.5, 1.5 against Vietnam. So a draw between Poland and United States of America, and surprising draw for Russia against Azerbaijan.
And in tomorrow's round, we will see in the women's section Ukraine against Vietnam, Azerbaijan against China, Georgia, Russia. That will be
That will be a big match.
a clash for probably the gold medal. If Russia wins that match, then we should say that it's
Well,
too
it's
early
too early to say, but 2
after
leaders
seeing
and they
today's
didn't
match.
play each other just yet.
Yeah,
Ukraine and Russia.
Georgia
so-
has dropped.
Yeah, but Ukraine has the same points in Russia than Russia, and they didn't play
Already?
each other. Yeah,
Okay.
again.
Yeah, so this is
well,
too
it's
early.
too early. Yeah, Russia is clear favorite. They've played with China. They've beaten China.
So
That's it.
Georgia, Russia, United States, Egypt, and India, Poland. That is the women's tournament.
Okay.
And in the open section, we shall see Belarus against Russia, Norway against Ukraine, Poland facing Turkey, China against Egypt, and India against the United States.
All right.
So that will be tomorrow at the usual time, 10 a.m. GMT. Please check in your time zone what time is that, because we cannot announce everybody's country. I don't even know what time is it here right now. It's 8:30.
Yeah.
And use the hashtag #UGRAChess to let us know about your opinion, your questions, anything you want to talk about during this World Team Championship for men and women, with the strongest teams from 5 continents facing each other for the World Champions crown.
Wow. Thank you very much. And